Make sure those who are unable to be here today are able to see the video. How's everybody doing today? Thumbs up, thumbs down, thumbs up, thumbs up. Friday morning.
Okay, thumbs up.
Go Bulldogs. Go Bulldogs. Okay, so my name is Andres Hinojosa. Most people refer to me as Andy. I don't really care how you refer to me as long as you don't add any profanity. And here's the deal, okay? If you're going to call me Andres, you're gonna have to roll the R. That's the deal, all right? You guys wanna practice here? Everybody unmute themselves for just 10 seconds. Just unmute yourself, you guys ready? At the count of 3, I want you to say Andres, rolling in. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Andres.
Yes.
Oh, there's Mexican.
Andy.
All right. So this is business. What class is this? Business 295? Is that what it is?
Yep.
Business mathematics. Welcome to our course, our class. Little bit about myself. I'm actually originally from Tulare, born and raised in Tulare. Graduated from Tulare Western High School. Go Mustangs! Woo! Attaboy. Marcy, are you from Western as well? Attaboy.
Yes, sir.
When did you graduate?
Class of 04.
That was a little after I graduated, just a little. You're probably thinking they even had a high school back then? Actually, I think Tulare Western became a high school in the year that I was born, which was 1966, a long time ago.
We have Tulare has 3 now.
Oh, really? They have a third one? Who?
Mission Oak.
Is that really a high school? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm right down the road from it, but I never figured anybody even knew it. Okay.
Oh,
If you go to Mission, I'm just kidding, all right? It's just a joke, you know, because Tulare, that's the way we are. All right. All right. Went to school down south to Los Angeles, went to Cal State University of Northridge. While I was there, I married my wife, who also is from Tulare, but guess what? She didn't come from Tulare Western. She came from
Union.
the other side. Oh, no, Stephanie, you can't tell me that. Really? You went to Union?
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, Stephanie, you know, after about 30 years, you actually start coming around. Things are going to be okay. There's hope for you. So just
Yeah. I keep praying.
Okay, so she moved down to Los Angeles with me, but she didn't like Los Angeles. So we ended up moving back to Tulare. I finished my undergrad and graduate degree at Fresno State. My undergrad is bachelor's of science in business administration with an emphasis on accounting. And my graduate degree is an MBA with an emphasis on information systems. While I was finishing up the program there at Fresno State, I was working for the city of Sanger. When I left there, I was able to leave as the director of finance, but I wasn't really too enamored with government. So I decided to jump to the private sector, became a CFO controller for an ag company here in Exeter. Excuse me. And then I decided that I really wanted to have my own business at some point in time, but you know, I struggled with how I was going to do that, and the quickest way I could figure to do that was to become a CPA and have my own CPA firm. Now, it was much easier to say that than to actually do it, but I went ahead and I took a pretty big cut in pay, started working for a CPA firm, and that was back in 2000, and I became certified in 2002, and I started my own CPA practice in 2005. I have a small little firm here in Tulare, and I say small, there's 6 of us who go to work every day, and we do bookkeeping, accounting, financial statements, tax returns, primarily for a lot of smaller businesses in the area. So, so far we've been lucky that the pandemic hasn't brought us down or slowed us down for the most part. But you know, the jury's still out because this thing is still going, and we don't know how this is going to impact anybody in the long term. So we'll see. Hopefully we keep our fingers crossed. Let's see. As far as my teaching experience is concerned, remember that big cut in pay I talked to you about way back in the day? Well, in order to supplement the loss of income, I started teaching. And my first gig was actually teaching for Porterville College. By the way, those, I would prefer, I'm not real good at staring at names, so I would prefer that you actually show turn your videos on if possible. I mean, it's not mandatory, but that would be my preference. In any event, so let's see, I started teaching at Porterville College, and then from then on, I've taught for University of Phoenix for, I just finished up some courses with Fresno Pacific, University of Phoenix, Embry-Riddle Online, and then College of the Sequoias. I've done some classes at Reedley College as well, so DeVry, I mean, I've taught in a lot of different places. The good news is that for the most part, I almost teach exclusively for College of the Sequoias now, although I did finish up some courses at Fresno Pacific, and I'm still on the fence if they ask me to teach. I'm not going to teach for anybody else for sure, except maybe Fresno Pacific. You know, I'm still on the fence for that. And then maybe Embry-Riddle Online. Those are probably the 2 that I may consider. But other than that, you got me as if I'm not seeing anybody else but you guys. Isn't that cool? I'm a one class man now. Get a one class man. There you go. All right. Actually, not one class. I got a number of courses going on here at COS, but a one school man. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Personally, I've been married now for, I'm not real good with numbers. Okay, I know. It's been 31 years to the same person. Who does that? I don't know. And I'm mad because all my friends, they've gone through at least 2 to 3 wives, and I only just got one. I don't get that. I don't get that. I mean, whatever. I was the lucky one is what they tell me. So, and then when I look at their finances, I see, yeah, you're right. I am lucky. So,
Yeah.
let's see. I have a beautiful little girl. Her name is Sabrina. I say she's a little girl, but she's actually just graduated from Fresno State. Go Bulldogs. So she's working to get her credentials so she can be a teacher, which is a good thing because I'm running out of money. And then she hopefully will be teaching in the near future as well. There's a little bit of this pandemic has thrown a little bit of a curve at her as far as her credential program as well. So,
Yeah.
but we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's see, what else do you need to know about me? Any questions, issues about me personally? Ask me something so I can take a bite of my Danish here. No? Okay. Let's see what we have. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Now I'm going to push you off to the side and on my other screen here. So if I look like I'm actually looking away from the screen, it's because I'm actually trying to make sure that you guys can seem to be understanding and are relating to what I'm saying. Now, can everybody see my screen right now?
Yeah,
What do you see? Tell me, prove it.
business mathematics book
Yes.
and
Okay,
all your accounts.
and all my accounts. Okay. All right, so this is the main screen that you'll get into our class. Let's see, I'm a little new at this, so I'm wondering, can you give me any kind of insight as to where I might click?
Start here.
I'm sorry?
Start here.
Start here.
OMG, that's amazing. Did that just come to you? That's incredible.
Yes.
Yes, it just came to you, huh? Start here. All right, let's do that. All right, when you go to start here, you'll see that I have 4 links set up here. Let's go to the most important one. The first one is the syllabus. Okay, so here are the requirements of the class. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret. This is real. This is really my cell phone, okay? Now, after this class is over, you get rid of my cell phone. You get rid of it, all right? I don't need stalkers. I don't need to send the police off and get restraining orders, all right? After the course is done, if you're unhappy with your grade, we talk about it beforehand, all right? But, work on getting the grade you want on the front end so that way you get what you want and you don't harass me for the rest of my life, okay? Otherwise, I'll have to change my cell phone number and that's gonna be a problem for me. All right, the required materials. You are required to have the business mathematics. The name of the book is called Business Mathematics. I wonder what it looks like. Let me see. Let's see. Looking around, trying to see what could the cover look like. Anybody have any kind of hints? Is there any clues around here that would kind of give you a hint as to whether you got the right textbook or not?
Yeah, that book.
Oh my goodness, that book right there. This is the cover. So this is how you know for sure you have the right book. Isn't that amazing? Well, this teacher who set this up really made it really easy for all of us. I really like this guy, all right? Right, those are the ISBNs, and Pearson does some stuff with ISBN sometimes. So if they're adding a card or if they're taking away a card or all kinds of stuff. So I wouldn't pay, you could use this ISBN and that's likely going to get you the book. But if you get something with a different ISBN, but it has that name, that edition, and it looks like the picture, you should be good to go. Now, what I do want to emphasize to you is if you get the book and you purchase it from the bookstore or from somewhere else and it comes with the access code, this is very important. A course key is not required. Register for MyLab through the links in Canvas. The reason why that's important is because if you buy it anywhere outside of online, there's gonna be a set of instructions that tell you to go to the MyLab website, all right? You do not go to the website. Everything has been embedded in Canvas. You don't even need to know where the website is. You simply just click on the links in Canvas and you should be able to register and get access to the course once you show that you have a access code. Okay, so do not register by going to mylab.com. That's not what you do. You go everything through Canvas. We'll look at that a little bit more clearly in just a bit. Contacting me, the easiest way to get a hold of me is through email. I am constantly on my computer all day long, either at work or even at home. When I'm at home, I'm working. So that's the easiest. You do have my phone, although it's not likely I'm going to answer a phone call from an unrecognized number. So you'll have to leave a message. And I do listen to my messages and I do try to get back, but it's much more convenient for everyone if you just send an email to me to let me know what's going on. Now, let me go ahead and get out of going to stop sharing just to make sure there's nobody in the, yeah, looks like everybody. I was afraid somebody got into the waiting room and I haven't let them in, so I'm going to go back to sharing. Okay, the course description, you can read through that. This is a business math class, so the emphasis is going to be on business situations and circumstances. You have your student learning outcomes. They are listed there. The assignments, all your assignments will be completed through MyLab, with the exception of the discussions that are required for this class, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. Let's see, here's attendance and makeups. No missed exams or quizzes may be made up. All right, there is, and late assignments are not accepted. And there's no extra credit in this course. So you can ask me at the end of the course, but I'm going to tell you the syllabus says there's no extra credit. So here's the deal. You have to get your assignments done, and you have to get them done on time, and there are no exceptions. Well, okay, there can be an exception. Let's say you have a medical emergency of some sort. Be prepared to provide some type of evidence that that is in fact the case. You know, let's say, God forbid, you break your leg and you're in the emergency room, you know, all day Sunday when something is due, or Monday, and you weren't able to do that. Let me know. We'll go through it. We'll figure it out. But I will tell you some of the things that will not work. For example, if you tell me you had a rough week at work, that won't work. If you tell me that, you know, your spouse is just being a problem at home, and that's not going to work either. What you need to have is, the one thing I am sensitive to is medical emergencies. And when I say medical emergencies, that does extend to family. I know some of you have moms and dads, some of you have brothers and sisters, and some of you have even children that you're watching over. So if it would extend out there. But okay, let's think about this. All right, if let's say you're working on your homework, all right, and there's somebody who's next to you that's actually having a heart attack, all right, so of course you need to stop what you're doing, run over to the person that's having trouble, especially if you know CPR, and you need to administer CPR to help make sure that, you know, you can do what you can do to save them, right? But if you think about it, if they don't come around in about 5 minutes, there's no sense in you losing them and also losing the points on your homework. So if in 5 minutes it doesn't work, go ahead and just come right back to your homework and get that done and submit. No? Okay, you're really sleepy this morning, but that's all right. For the record, because this is going to be recorded, that was a joke, okay? That was just a joke. I was just kidding. You need to do everything you can to help that person, all right? So anyway, you know that what the rules are, so make sure you get all your homework done and get everything submitted on time. There's some things here that I normally have in the classroom. You can read through them. Here's how the grade...
Sorry.
You're right. That's how the grades will work. So we've got homework assignments, quizzes, exams, final exams, and discussions. Those are the total amounts of the points, and those are the weights. And then here's how we're going to be grading. There's A, B, C, D, and F. All right, we good? And we do have a final exam meeting date, and I will create a Zoom meeting for that day as well, and it will be posted. But just like I do in my live classes, if you've got everything submitted and you have no questions and there are no issues, you probably won't have to attend that or be on Zoom if you don't. You can come on and say hi to me and talk to me if you'd like, but there won't be a requirement of the course, okay? It'll just be something that I have to do as an obligation to all of you, to make sure that I'm available to you if you have any questions about the overall course and your final grades. Okay, are there any questions about anything on the syllabus. Any questions at all? Okay, let's go back to start here. Let's look at the course calendar. All right, so we have week 1. There's an introductory syllabus review, mandatory Zoom meeting. We've got that all set up right now. And then we have chapter 1. Now, this first week, and really we're meeting today, which is the 21st. We're going to be using the online week, so that's why this first week is by. So we're right in the middle of this first week on the 17th. We just have the Zoom meeting and we're just meeting, and there's no homework requirement. But you do have a very short period of time to get everything set up in my lab. And your first homework assignments for chapter 1 are going to be due on Monday the 31st at 4 p.m. Okay? So you still have some time to do that if you haven't already. I think most of you have actually already set up everything, but if you haven't, you still have some time. You just need to jump right on it. And then from then on, you'll see every week we cover a chapter, and we should be good to go. All right. Let's see what else we got. We have MyLab resource and registration. This is a reminder that you do not go to the website. You must access MyLab Mastering in the course menu to register. Do not go to the Pearson website, okay? And then there's this, if you have some issues and you send an email to me and I say to you, hey, I want you to go and visit the, get some support from Pearson, here's where you go. The student support, you click on this link here and that'll get you to somebody and the information you need to get some support, okay? All right, we can go now to, well, let's go to MyLab and Mastering. Let's do that because that's critical. Now, as far as your requirement here, your screen will probably look different, especially the very first time. Once you're registered already, it'll probably look pretty similar. But what you want to do is you want to click on Start MyLab or whatever it says on your screen here, and then you'll get through a process by which you register or create a Pearson account. What I want you to do is make sure that you use your COS EDU Giant account, because here's what happens. It's much cleaner if you use your COS Giant account, because when you click on it, if you click on Ask My Professor or about a question you have on a specific assignment, then it'll send it to my email, and then when I reply, the reply will automatically go back to your COS Giant account. So if my preference is that you use your COS Giant account for all your communications in this course. That's number one. Number two, make sure you put in the right spelling of your email, because I had one student over the summer who didn't do that correctly, and every time I would send a reply from Ask My Professor, it came back undeliverable because the email address was entered incorrectly, okay? So make sure you have that set up as well correctly. Once you get registered, it'll ask for an access code. You will have a 2-week option, a temporary access code, and you can choose that option. With that option, you'll get 2 weeks, but when that 2 weeks expires, you do have to get registered. So make sure everything is done, and again, there won't be any extensions on that. You have to get everything signed up. So if you're running low on the funds, you've got 2 weeks, and in 2 weeks you better beg, borrow, or steal, no, don't steal, but beg or borrow to make sure that you're able to get online and get the access, okay? Once you're in MyLab, you should be able to click on the same kind of link that I saw, and you'll have your MyLab screen will be like this. Now, this is one way to access your homework. You can just go directly to Canvas and just access the assignments that way. But here you'll see that chapter 1 homework assignment is already set up. It's due on August 31st. And then chapter 1 quiz is listed, and then chapter 2 is already available as well. Okay? Any questions about accessing my lab? Very good. Let's go back to modules. And you see this is the start list. Everything is about the same. I do have my schedule here. Here's the way it's actually going to work. I will have office hours, but I'm not going to be physically at the office at COS, okay? I will hold office hours in the times that the places where you can see general office Zoom meetings. So between 9 and 10 on Monday and Wednesdays, and then again on Thursdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 12 and 1 p.m. Okay? Those are general office Zoom, so you can visit me. I will be online, and I will be posting the links to the Zoom meeting, just like I've done over this week. I think you've seen when I've actually told you, hey, I'm online if you need me, right? So
Yeah.
I'll keep doing that. Now for Business 295 for this course, I will be online as well, specifically just for you guys. The general office meetings are for anybody, but the Business 295 is just for you guys. So you can also come in at that time. This course is being conducted asynchronously. In other words, you do not have to be here at any specific time. You can come in, but I will be here between 8 and 11 every Friday. If I'm going to be away for some reason, I'll post a note and let you know what's going on. But for the most part, you can count on me being here in Zoom, and I will also post the link for that. And I will use the general office meeting link as well for that. So Mondays between 9 and 10, and Wednesdays between 9 and 10, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 12 and 1, and then on Fridays, our normal class time, I will be here between 8 and 11, okay? So if you're struggling with any problem or issues, I'll be here. And then it'll be easier for us to meet that way. In fact, it'll probably be a little bit easier in the context that I'll be able to share screens or get you to share your screens to see what's going on. And we'll kind of work through this together. Okay? All right, so that's the calendar. Let's go back to modules. There's a link here for Canvas support. So if you need some help with working and maneuvering through Canvas, there are some student guides. There are some student videos. And then there's even some links that I've added that will help you with an Apple device and also an Android device, okay? So if you need help with it, have all of you downloaded the app, the Canvas app? Yeah, it's kind of convenient, and I use it just to kind of look at things. I don't think it's helpful in terms of doing work on it, but it's certainly easy to look at things and get things, to view things is a good way. Okay, so let's go back to modules. And okay, there's a questions thread here. Now, if you have questions, here's another way you can post a question. This is kind of, I've subscribed to it. Somebody did this in one of my other classes and I didn't even see it till the evening. So, you know, I'm subscribed. I'm supposed to get an email if anybody posts anything, but if you'd like, you can use this as a way to ask a question. This will also give the opportunity for other students to see the question and maybe they can reply as well. But in any event, this is one way to get a hold of me as well, beyond just the email, beyond just the Zoom meetings that I have, and then beyond just the telephone as well. So this is one more avenue for you to get a hold of me. All right, and let's go back to modules. Okay, so here is the next module I've set up is the Zoom meetings. Here was our mandatory Zoom meeting that we're on right now. And then this is the general office Zoom. So you know, when I post that I'm available, I'll include this link. But if you just want to get right to this section, this module, you can click on it and get to me that way as well. All right, the next module is showing lecture videos. These are videos that I'm creating, that I'm reviewing chapters as if we were in the classroom. I go through them almost identically as I do in the classroom. The difference is I'm not writing things down on an overhead. I'm actually using a spreadsheet. And I don't know if you've had a chance to look at any of the videos yet, but that's kind of, they're really exciting too. I mean, they're just wonderful, exciting, and they're just like, oh my goodness, right? So here are 5 videos that I've already submitted, and they're ready for you to review for chapter 1. Let's see how wonderful I look here. A spreadsheet class, it's not an Excel class. That can come, which is not 5-word practice. We'll do that to make a decision. One for, it's kind of what we're going to, all the zeros here. There's 3 zeros.
Let's say there's going to be some.
Get rid of them, pretend
You're
nothing.
not showing how to do the problem.
Section 1.2 application problems. Answers in this application divided by full width. 2000. We're going to figure. I'm finding something so it'll show that demonstrate because I know I've used them. So section 1 digit, 100 thousandths. What's that per bit? So 5, 75 millions. That's how it be read. So if we have a number on the left side of the decimal place, it would read just like a normal, and then we would add the and. Might be a little bit easier than the front rounding because this is probably how you learn. If we're looking at thing, let's say we decimal over, so 97. So we look to the square, it's 4 nearest can. Well, in the first chapter, I guess there's not a whole lot of computations here. But concludes I'll find something here. Decimal. So if you have 0.01, make sure that you're adding the number. Go ahead and put 45, and should be able to move answers as well. If you run that 10, it will add. Should be pretty close to if you end up at 600. Feel of making sure you're close. You're going to really multiply decimal points. I mean, it's as if they were doing that section. Add it up. So to the right of the decimal point, in the 4 3 times. You can almost. So for the decimal, it's important. Minus 60, 70 division problem. Chapter 1 didn't have very many, but I know it. Let me look at chapter 2. Oh, here it is. This video will cover chapter 2 fraction. Separate fraction. Next number. And we're going to have 2. Okay. It's 12 top of 18 and 20. Okay. So here's an example. Plenty of room to move up, and you'll be doing this by hand with some paper. We have 12, 18, and 20. And the first thing we're going to do is figure out whether or not, starting with prime numbers, the lowest prime number is 2. The lowest prime numbers. So what I want you to see is, this is what I would do in the classroom. I would just do it by hand. I would write it out. So I'm using a spreadsheet, not to teach you how to use Excel, but just to demonstrate something. So you don't have to worry too much about how you use Excel. Just watch how I demonstrate something. Does 3 go into 9? Yes, it does. How many times? 3 times. Does 3 go into 5? No. So we're going to carry over 5. Okay? So it'd be exactly the way I would teach you in the classroom, except I'm going to use the spreadsheet because it works easier for me, and I think it's less messy this way. All right. All right. So so wherever it was necessary, I went ahead and put spreadsheets to demonstrate how to actually do the problem. And in some cases, I actually use the writing element and actually write down some things as well, even in the spreadsheet, okay? So those videos will be available to you. They are available now. I have to work a little bit ahead of the game until I get to like chapter 6, and I have some videos from last semester, because last semester, right in the middle of the semester, we went into the pandemic mode. So I have some videos already set up for chapter 7 and beyond, I think it is. So I've already got chapter 3 up through chapter 3 uploaded. I just finished chapter 4. I've got to edit it and then upload it. And so that should be done over the weekend. So by the time you actually really start working on the homework, which the only thing you need to worry about is chapter 1, I'll have up through chapter 4 ready for you. Now I will not make future chapters available so that you could work ahead. And the reason being is, especially like for quizzes, inevitably when I do that, students, for whatever reason, and you can blame all the students in the past for this, end up sending me an email and say, hey, I accidentally started doing this quiz and I need it to be reset. And I'm not so sure how many times that's really true, or if somebody just figured out a way to retake a test, all right? So I'm done with that. I'm just making available the exams and the homework as we go per week. And if you're mad about that, you can yell at everybody that's taken this course in the past, okay? It's not my fault. All right. So from after the Zoom meetings, you'll see the chapter and lecture videos. You'll see from then on, we're just set up by week. We have our mandatory Zoom meeting that we're doing right now, and then your week 1 introduction. So there is actually some discussions that we've set up. Here are the discussions. And there's the question thread that we've already looked at. Here is the introduction. So if you look, you'll see you have some introduction. This is not graded, by the way. So this week 1, you don't have to worry about missing any grades or missing any points. You're good to go. You're simply just kind of introducing yourself. Looks like Jennifer already introduced herself. Thank you. Looks like Sharon did as well. Rita and Stephanie. And oh my goodness, look. Angela gave us a picture. Thank you very much. You look just like the video, in the video. That's let me see. Yeah, that looks just like you. So let's see, Esperanza. I really like that name. I try to convince my wife that we should name my daughter Esperanza. She said, no, it sounds too Mexican to her. I said, well, you can call her Hope. Yeah, she's like, no, I'm not going to go for that. So, but I love the name, so very pretty name. Discussions. Okay, so now the biggest challenge that you're going to have is, okay, what about the discussions? How is that going to work? So you'll see we have week 2 discussions, and every week I have now from week 2 on, it is graded. Every week I do have discussions set up, and you are to respond to the following discussions. Complete the case and summary point exercise subway at the end of chapter 1 and respond to the following discussion question. If sales increase by 1,500 in a week, do you think profit for the week will also be increased by about 1,500? Why or why not? Okay. Now, in responding to this is your requirement. Post 1 reply message that contains 2 well-developed paragraphs and clearly addresses the discussion questions. In some cases, it'd be 1 or just more than 1. I think in most cases, it's just going to be 1 for you guys. The instructor will not consider a single sentence paragraph as well-developed. Okay. And then after that, post 2 replies to 2 different students. All right. So show evidence of critical thinking, meaningful interaction with the posting, as well as a course resource, and ask engaging questions or provide insight to the discussions. All right. This is what is required for you to receive discussion points. All right. Now I just noticed something here. Let me go ahead and get this fixed.
Why did you add those?
I'm going to go to, these are the same discussion requirements for all of my classes. So which one would be a good one? Let's do accounting ones. So I just noticed that in the syllabus, I didn't talk about the discussion requirements. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post these. Into let's make it a page.
I mean, how are you gonna answer, respond to it if you're not gonna understand?
Okay, I'm going to add this page to the start here. Okay, so in addition to the instructions that you have right where the discussion question is, you've got more information here. Here are the participation requirements for both remote and online. Students will be required to participate in weekly online discussions. The online week begins on Monday, 12 a.m. and ends on Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Monday through Sunday, that's our week, okay? Each week, the instructor will post discussion questions in the discussion forum located in Canvas. During the online week, students will be required to post one reply message that contains 2 well-developed paragraphs and clearly addresses the discussion questions. The instructor will not consider a single sentence paragraph as well-developed. And then you are to post 2 replies to 2 different student posts. Your reply post must be substantive. You need to show evidence of critical thinking and meaningful interaction with the posting, as well as a course resource. Ask engaging questions or provide insight into the discussion.
So it's one paragraph for the discussion?
It says post 1 reply message that contains 2 well-developed paragraphs.
Oh, 2.
Okay? 2 well-developed paragraphs. Then from there, you will reply to 2 other students. Both quantity and quality are important considerations when posting substantive messages. For example, I agree is not considered substantive because it does not add anything of substance to the discussion. A single sentence post will not count or will not be considered substantive. Students will earn 50% of the weekly discussion points by responding to the initial discussion question. So if you reply to the first question, you're going to get 50% of those points for the discussion points for that week. Then students will earn 25% of the weekly discussion points for each substantive reply to other students. So you're going to be required to post 3 messages every week. One, to reply to the discussion question, and then two other posts replying to 2 students. But they have to be substantive. And they're going to be all or nothing. In other words, I'm not giving partial credit for answering the question almost halfway through. Let's say, for example, you post a single sentence or even 2 sentences that are really not substantive, or let me give you the example. Let's say you reply to this discussion question, you reply to it, you give the answer, you talk about it, you give us some thoughts, you have a substantive post, you're good to go. So you'll get 50% of the points. Let's say you reply to one other student and that post is substantive. It goes beyond just saying, I agree, I like how you did this, I thought about this, blah, 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 okay? And then let's say on the third post, you just say, I agree, and then that's it, okay? The third post is not substantive. So therefore, you will not get any points for the third post. What you're gonna get is 50% for the first post, you'll get 25% for the second post, and you'll get 0, so you'll get 75% of the grades. You're not gonna get half of a discussion, half of a reply. It'll be all or nothing for each one of those. So make sure you reply to the discussion question completely and thoroughly and give some thoughts, and then reply to others. Okay? And they have to be substantive.
Can we post our reply as well as the 2 replies on the same day, or do we have to separate them in different days?
No, they don't have to be on any different day. They
Okay.
can all be on one day. And I would like to encourage most of you to go on and reply to the discussion questions early in the week. So that way, if another student wants to go in and meet the requirements early in the week, there's something there to reply to. All right. So, you know, the rule of thumb, I would say, I haven't made it a requirement, but the rule of thumb is by Wednesday of every week, you reply to the discussion. That's the one visit you have to come online. And then maybe Thursday or Friday or whenever you want, you can go back in and reply to the other 2 students. Now, you won't be able to see replies, the other student replies, until you post your response first. Okay, so you'll be going into your discussion questions, and in week 2 is when all of this starts. So the good news is you don't have to worry about week 1. That's just kind of for fun. You'll go to week 2 is when it starts, and then you'll reply to this question, okay? And then once you reply to it, you'll see other people's posts and you'll reply to the other students, okay? Let's take a look at week 3 discussion.
I'm not happy.
You're not happy?
No.
Come on, Stephanie, you gotta be happy. Week 3, there's a question and there are some replies there. So here's what I want you to think about. The discussion requirements are really a substitute for the fact that we don't meet in a live setting, okay? So this compensates for the fact that we're not live, so this allows for interaction, discussion, exchange of ideas and thoughts, and will bring more to the overall class than just simply doing the assignment and submitting it yourself. Okay?
I don't know how to express myself. I'm quiet.
Well, this will be good. This will be a learning process. You should, if I were you, Stephanie, I would be really happy because I'd be thinking, OMG, I'm actually going to practice this and this will be good for me so I can get better at it.
It's not my forte. Like,
That's good. Anything that gets you out of your comfort zone, that's a good thing. You'll see, Stephanie.
yeah.
You'll see. Any questions about the discussions? Now, after week 2 is done, I'll try to give you an update on your discussion grades for week 2 within about 2 or 3 days after that. So that way you can see if you're online. Because I know you don't want to, wait till 3 or 4 weeks after the fact and figure it out. Oh my God, I've been doing it all wrong the whole
So can we like send it to you before we submit it, just so we know we're doing it right?
time. No, you don't have to do that. You just have to do what I tell you to do online, right? Reply 2 paragraphs, substantive. Now, by the way, if the number you submit is wrong, that's not going to be a big deal for me, all right? The big deal, because we'll figure out, you'll actually be able to tell what the right number is eventually. So I know it asks you to do some computations. Whether it's right or wrong is really not relevant to me. A, that you went through the process of doing it, and B, that you answered it completely. It says 2 paragraphs, and if all your paragraph says I agree, then you know that's not going to work. For example,
Okay.
let me give you an example here. Let's go to the question. You're asking me to grade it more than once. Once you get the rhythm of this, it's going to be pretty straightforward. But if sales increase by 1,500 in a week, do you think the profit for the week will also increase by 1,500? Why or why not? All right. You know, I
But
might.
how are you supposed to answer it if you don't understand it though?
Well, you can ask me. You can not text me, but email me and or Zoom me. And if it's confusing to you, I certainly will help you to come up with how to answer that. That's okay. But I think the question was, well, how do I know I'm substantive or I'm meeting participation requirements? But you're going to look at the case itself. You'll read the case and you'll see, did sales increase by 15? If sales increase by 15 in a week, do you think profits and this is think. So think means, it doesn't mean that you're going to be right or wrong. Well, there is a right or wrong answer in this, but I want you to tell me what you think. Think about it. See if it works. Do you think it will? Why or why not? All right. So in other words, if sales go up, will profit increase by $1,500? So since I'm going to be talking about profits, I probably would first start with profits are defined by taking revenue and subtracting expenses. Okay, because you're talking about profit. That's here's kind of a hint for you guys. And this will work for even for papers that you're writing. But when you look, you think, okay, well, what I do? There's a word profit. Let's define profit first, okay? So you define profit. Profits are defined by taking revenues and subtracting expenses. All right. In this case, revenues are listed at X and expenses are listed at X. I don't have the case in front of me. You can go look at it. All right. Before an increase in sales, net profit must equal X amount. Okay. So there's three sentences there. That would be, enough for you to call that a paragraph. You'd move on. All right. If sales were increased by $1,500, I think profits would blah, 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 blah.
That's supposed to be 2 paragraphs explaining that?
Yeah, I've already done 1 paragraph. I'm on the 2nd paragraph.
Oh, okay.
If sales increase by 50, I think profits would increase or decrease because blah, blah, blah. Okay. This would apply to any type of retailer because blah, 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 blah. I remember when I worked for Burger King, we would have this type of discussion all the time. So bring in your personal experiences, throw something like that. And something that would be at least something that someone else might say, hey, I used to work at Burger King, and then that gives them the opportunity to reply, all right? Don't make it any harder than it really has to be. Yeah, okay, so let's say you come across this and you're saying, oh my goodness, I want to reply to this. Okay, so now this is your reply. I like how you define profit as sales less expenses. I also worked at Burger King, and we had to submit reports that included expenses, blah, 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 okay? So, you know, I mean, the mathematical element of this is in your homework and your assignments. Here is just for you to get engaged and talk about things, see what other people are actually saying. And I know it seems kind of weird for a math class to have discussions, but you know, you'd be surprised about what by reading some of the other posts, and you're like, oh wow, I didn't know that's what it was like. And that would be the whole point of having discussions, okay? 3 posts. It's not like I'm asking you to write dissertation every week. It's just 3 posts, all right? Reply to the question and then respond to 2 others, and you should be good to go. Why are you guys all looking depressed now? Yeah, there's no reason to be depressed.
It
No, I
just
have
seems
to-
like it's gonna be pretty hard.
This looks hard? No, this will be the easy part. It's the
This
method.
is my first time that I'm gonna be doing discussions, so
Oh, this is the first time you're doing discussions?
yeah.
Well, if you have any inclination of continuing your education, I think what you're going to see is that with the onset of more online courses and how they work, you're going to see a lot more of this, okay?
Well,
So-
this is my last semester, so I'm done with this.
So then all you got to do is survive. Put yourself in survival mode, right?
Oh,
You can do it. I know you can, Sam. I know you can. Okay? So, to make a short story long, the question was, will you submit something to me and tell me if it's okay? The answer is, I'm not grading it twice. I'm just grading it once. If you just follow the format, and I will be very lenient in grading this, okay?
oh, thank you.
But it has to be substantive. If, as an example, if your reply is this, and this is classic, I see this all the time. I agree with your answer. It helped me to better understand the question. And that's it. That's not substantive. You are not going to get any points for that. In fact, when I'll read that, it'll piss me off. Because that's so obvious that you're not adding anything to the question, right? You're going to get 0 for that. I agree, and it helped me to better understand. I like the way you put it this way. You write it so eloquently. You guys are just kissing butt with everybody and just putting some stuff in there so you can keep friends, all right? Don't do that. But don't be critical. Don't have to say, hey, that's wrong. You have no clue, all right? You don't want to do that either, all right? But you know, and you can agree or you can disagree. It doesn't really matter. The thing is, you need to add something to the discussion, okay? Just don't tell me how you better understand the question. And if you tell me this in about a paragraph or 4 lines long, it's still going to be 0, all right? I didn't understand it before, but now I understand it today.
No sabe inglés.
I'm sorry?
No sabe inglés.
Oh, that's a problem. Okay. Any questions about the discussion requirements? Are we good? Honestly, this is gonna be, this will be the easiest points you have to pick up. The easiest points. All right. It won't take. Okay, what do we meet in a class for 3 hours every week? We're supposed to. It will not take you 3 hours to do these questions. It won't. All right. Okay. Let's go back to modules. We have the participation requirements, chapter videos. I think that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions, issues, or concerns? You guys were all happy earlier. Now you guys look depressed. Math is fun. You have to get up in the morning and say, I love math. Did you do that? I love math. This is actually a very practical course that really can help you with some things that, as we were growing up, maybe weren't quite developed yet, ready for things, and you know, we were introduced to some concepts that we just were not ready for. But now that we're a little bit more matured, our wires are a little bit more soldered closer together in our heads, so that we're ready to absorb some things. And this will be it. Plus, we have some experiences in our own personal lives that we can apply this to almost immediately. Okay. All righty then. What else do we have? I think I'm good to go. The most important thing is to get your MyLab all set up immediately. If you need time for the 2-week temporary access, take advantage of that. And then get started on your homework, your first assignments. Well, let's go to our calendar again. Okay, so this week is kind of a bye. There's not much going on. You just had to be here, learn how the course is going to be conducted. The real week starts on Monday, this next Monday, and now we have chapter 1 in play. That's going to be due on Monday. Oh, by the way, just so that you know, and let me go back to something to make this very clear as well. On the discussion requirements, it says the online week begins on Monday at 12 a.m. So we're already in week 1. Week 2 starts on Monday morning at 12 a.m. and ends on Sunday 11:59. So the weekly requirements, the posting requirements are Monday to Sunday, okay? You have to post those 3 posts between Monday and Sunday. Now, technically, if that were really, if I really wanted to follow this to the point where they're to the letter of the law, so to speak, then that would also mean that your homework assignments are due on Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. However, I've been doing this long enough to recognize that sometimes I don't care for when when there's technical problems on Sunday about 7 or 8 o'clock at night. And I'm not real good at getting on my computer on Sundays anyway. And all of a sudden, not till Monday morning, I start to see that there were some issues. All right. So the discussions are due by 11:59 p.m. on Sunday evening. The same corresponding homework for week 2 is due on the following Monday at 4 p.m. So think of it this way. I'm giving you an extension from 11:59 at Sunday to all the way the following day at 4 p.m. Okay? You're welcome. You're welcome. You can send me a birthday card, and so thanking me for all the extensions I gave you, because I gave you, I don't know, 17 extensions. All right. Already you got an extension.
So it's March 9th, right?
March 11th.
11th.
Get it right. I think it was the day that we went into
COVID.
COVID. Yeah, I know. My birthday. I'm really proud about that.
Yeah, all my kids' birthday was that month too.
Okay, so the discussions are due by Sunday evening. Your homework assignments are due on the following day by 4 p.m. And the logic is that, you know, I can more easily deal with a technical problem on Monday than I will be on Sunday. I may not be able to address the technical problem at all, but this gives at least a better chance if there's something going on. Plus, it gives you a better chance if you had some problems on Sunday night to be able to still submit it the next day. Okay. Any questions? You guys ready for the semester?
I was.
You were.
In.
You were. How many other classes do we have going on this semester?
4.
4? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll be it for this course. That'll be it for this class. There will be no longer requirement for you to be online. I will be here between 8 and 11. I will be posting the general office meeting links for Zoom. So if you're struggling with something, you can come on and we'll see if we can get through it. All right. Other than that, I want you guys to be safe, to be careful in your lives, keep your family safe, put on a mask, okay? Don't be a mask hole, just put your mask on, all right? And, I don't want to go into the discussion of whether or not it's going to help or not. Do it anyway, case, all right? And we need to get past this because it's driving us home. Once we get past this, everybody can rip their mask off and run around naked if you want. Well, no, don't do that, but you can run around without your mask on. I mean, that's up to you. But in the meantime, please do you can to take care of yourselves, take care of your family members. I've already had 2 positives in my house. It happened in April. And then I had some positives in my office. So my office manager, my wife, and my daughter all tested positive.
Oh. Was it severe?
No one had severe symptoms. We all got through it. And here's what you have to remember is that if you test positive, you're likely going to be okay. It's so scary at first, but you're likely going to be okay.
Yeah.
What I don't like is the word likely, okay? And when you get it, or when it's in your family, that word likely scares you to death because you're thinking, okay, I'm likely, but there's not a for sure thing. And so what you're really going to struggle with more than anything is the stress that comes with the positive, all right? But I was lucky because I had already been isolating myself in a different room and washing my hands because I had already known that we might have had a positive in my office. And I was protecting my wife and my daughter to make sure that they didn't get whatever I thought that I was probably bringing home. And it turned out that that procedure, that process actually ended up protecting me because both of them tested positive. All right. And so it was a combination of taking care of things in my, I washed my clothes for the 3 weeks and used a separate restroom and slept in a different room. And so I just isolated myself from them, and that seemed to have worked. Maybe there was some element of luck to it as well. I don't know. But the point being is that going through that, we had to shut my office down for 2 weeks completely. We were all working remotely, and it impacted my revenue significantly. It was not a fun thing to go through.
Mm.
Everybody's fine. Everybody came out okay, so thank God. But that process is not fun. And the hardest thing is the stress. So do everything you can to avoid that kind of a situation, right?
I'm just curious, what symptoms did they have? Was it in the respiratory or no?
No, my wife had a little bit of stuffy nose.
Yeah.
She had a little bit of, one day, I think, a really slight fever.
Yeah.
My daughter had no fever. She had pain in her legs,
Yeah.
and she lost her sense of smell and taste.
Mhm.
My office manager was feeling some, and what was funny is that during that same time, I was actually feeling congestion in my throat. So I was convinced that I was positive as well.
Yeah.
And we found out that my office manager tested positive, me, my wife, and my daughter got into my car and we drove to go get tested. This was on Easter Sunday, by the way. That was a fun thing on Easter. We went to go get tested on Easter Sunday.
Mhm.
We came back. We picked up all the items in the office. We closed the office so that we weren't going to be accessible in there. We're going to be working remotely. I fixed my office at the house to start working. And then in 2 days, the results came back. My results came back first. And I was told that I was negative. And I was, woo, we're good to go. We're off, you know, I was convinced that I was the one that was probably positive. And then it turned out that their call didn't come in at the same time. And I was like, well, why? I thought we all tested at the same time, right? And then about 2 hours later, they got a call, and another nurse said to them that they were both positive. And then when that happened, the nurse, I was on the phone as well, and he said, you need to come back and get tested again. And I was like, are you kidding me? I already got a get out of jail free card. I'm not going to go back and try that one again. He said, I think you need to do that. So I said, okay. So I got in my car, went all the way crying back to Kauai Delta, and went through the testing process again. And this time it took 4 days, and I was convinced by the 4th day that they were just holding back because they were going to tell me that they spotted something else and that I had like 2 days to live or something like that, right? But they called me back, or no, they didn't even call me. I called them and said, hey, what's the deal? So they found the file, and they said that that I tested negative again. So it was very stressful, right? Very stressful. But everybody came out fine. Now, I will tell you that I do have a cousin in Texas who passed away 2 weeks ago because of COVID.
Mm.
He wasn't as lucky as what we had out here. So
How old was he?
she was 52.
Okay. Yeah.
She was,
Seems to affect the more older.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. Because
Well, I mean, it's not that. I mean, it's not that.
that makes me feel good.
I mean,
You always bring a smile to me with your comment.
wow.
Anyway, he did pass away. A very kind lady. She was my cousin. Now, we weren't very close because they live in Texas and we didn't visit them very often, but I do have very fond memories. In fact, we just saw her last year, and she's the same person as she was when I was a child, and it's hard to know that she's not with us anymore. Not to mention the impact to my family over there, my uncle, who is still alive, my aunt, who is still alive. They are both in their 70s and they've lost their child. It's not cool. So do what you can to be careful. Now don't kill yourselves in trying to beat this, because you do have to live your lives, right? You still have to have a family, you still have to. But when you're out and about, please do what you can to make sure that you protect your family. You and your family. People rely upon you as well. You're important. I told my daughter from the get-go, I do not, even before this COVID stuff, I do not want to go to a nursing home.
Yeah.
I think she's going to put me in a nursing home anyway.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. You don't throw a Mexican into a nursing home. That's not the way it's supposed to work. You're supposed to have your grandpa and grandmother in the back.
Yeah.
It's just, but I don't know. I don't think she sees it the same way we do. Anyway, it is what it is. I'll just wear a mask or something. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully she'll figure it out by then. I'll just sleep in the back. Okay, any other questions, issues, concerns? Okay, have a wonderful semester. I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. All of you be safe, and we'll see you on.
Thank you, you too.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Wait, yeah, Esperanza.
Thank you.
Can I
Yes.
get, well, if you want to email me or
you.
can I get your number?
Yeah, I'll message you.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Hope. Hope. She's Hope.
Huh?
Her name is Hope.
Hope.
Esperanza.
Esperanza.
Así me gusta. That's what I like. I like that name. Okay. We'll see you guys there. Take care. Be good.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.